Chapter 20. Separation. The attacks from Seraphina's cadre continued. Whispers in hallways. Sabotage of training equipment. Social isolation that followed me like a shadow through the academy corridors. But they rolled off me now like water. I had something real with Dane. Something worth fighting for. And petty cruelty felt small compared to nearly dying together in that corrupted village. Cassia's sweet voice in the dining hall.
Oh, honey, I heard you barely passed the last practical. Everyone is so worried about you.
I smiled, kept eating. The lie was so transparent it almost made me laugh. Millicent blocking my path to the library.
We do not typically see, people like you in the advanced theory sections.
I walked around her. Did not even bother responding. Lyanna's bulk looming in the training yard.
People are talking about you and Instructor Ashforge. You should know what they are saying.
I met her eyes. Then they should say it to my face instead of hiding behind you. She blinked, stepped aside. I was riding high on the emotional revelations from the previous chapter. Dane wanted to live. He had chosen me. We had healed each other through magic the manuals never mentioned. Nothing Seraphina's cadre could do compared to that. Then Dane received urgent orders. He found me in the training yard after morning drills. His face was tight, controlled, but I could see tension in the set of his shoulders.
Deployment to the boundary wall,
he said. No preamble. Just facts delivered in his clipped military precision.
classified mission, duration unknown.
My stomach dropped. When?
Tomorrow at dawn.
I opened my mouth, closed it, tried to find words that would not sound desperate.
Pack your gear.
Dane continued. His tone shifted slightly, almost gentle.
Of course you are coming with me. We work best together. The administration knows this.
Hope flared in my chest. Relief so intense it made me dizzy. Of course. We were a functional dyad now. Documented. Our combat effectiveness was in official records. Wherever he deployed, I would deploy with him. We would not be separated. We arrived at the gate the next morning with our gear. Dawn light painted the academy walls gold and red. I could smell frost on the air. Winter coming early this year. The guard checked his manifest, looked uncomfortable, then blocked my path.
Only Instructor Ashforge is authorized for this assignment.
Dane's expression went cold. Dangerous.
Check again.
I did, sir. Multiple times.
The guard would not meet his eyes.
Your name is on the deployment list. Hers is not.
Our combat effectiveness is documented.
Dane said, each word precise, controlled. But I heard fury underneath.
Our compatibility is in official records. This makes no tactical sense.
The guard shrugged helplessly.
Orders, sir. You will need to speak with my commanding officer.
We got escalated up the chain. Officer to captain to major. Each one checking records. Each one looking progressively more uncomfortable. Each one refusing to override the orders. Finally, we stood in Commander Thrace's office. She sat behind her desk. Gray hair pulled back in a severe bun. Face lined with decades of command decisions. Eyes sharp and assessing as they moved between Dane and me.
The orders are correct,
she said, her voice flat, brooking no argument.
Instructor Ashforge deploys alone.
This makes no tactical sense.
Dane repeated. His hands were fists at his sides.
Our documented compatibility.
Politics, boy.
Thrace cut him off.
You should know there are always bigger fish out there.
Her gaze flicked between us, calculating, measuring.
You two need to tread carefully. The Empire needs strong dyads. Be sure you survive long enough to serve.
The dismissal was absolute. Someone with power wanted us separated, and Thrace either could not or would not intervene. Dane tried to argue further. Cited regulations, combat statistics, mission success rates. Thrace listened with infinite patience, then repeated herself.
The orders stand. Report to the gate in 10 minutes, Instructor Ashforge dismissed.
We walked back to the gate in silence. My throat was too tight to speak. My hands shook despite my best efforts to control them. This was wrong. Tactically unsound. Politically motivated. Someone had orchestrated this. Someone with enough power that even Commander Thrace would not cross them. The transport waited at the gate. Other cleavers were already boarding. I recognized a few faces. Elite combat veterans. Sector 7 material. No binders. Just cleavers being sent somewhere classified and dangerous without their optimal partners. Dane stopped a few feet from the transport. Turned to face me. A dozen witnesses watched. Other cleavers. Gate guards. Academy staff passing by on morning business. He reached for my hand.
Quick transfer before deployment.
He said, loud enough for the witnesses to hear.
Perfectly professional. Nothing unusual.
Our fingers touched. Time fractured. The transfer opened a space between heartbeats where only we existed. Our magic spiraled together in the intimate darkness that had become our secret language. His ash flowed into me, tempering, stabilizing, anchoring me to earth and order and solid things. My ink flowed into him, keeping him flexible, preventing crystallization, reminding him that change was not always corruption. No words spoken aloud, but everything said in the desperate press of fingers, in the way our channels opened completely to each other, in the vulnerability of allowing someone else to touch the core of your magic and trusting they would not break you. We clung to each other in that suspended moment. Both terrified this separation was the beginning of the end. That whoever orchestrated this knew exactly how to destroy us. When we broke apart, it was with visible reluctance. My fingers trembled. His hand shook before he forced it still. Several observers shifted uncomfortably. The transfer had lasted too long, been too intimate, too obviously not just professional necessity. I looked up, saw Commander Thrace watching from her office window, her expression unreadable. But I knew she was noting everything. How long the transfer lasted, how our hands trembled when we finally released each other. Evidence, documented, filed away for future use.
Stay alive.
Dane said, his voice rough.
Train, get stronger, I will return.
I nodded, could not speak past the tightness in my throat. He boarded the transport without looking back. I understood why. If he looked, he would not be able to leave. The vehicle pulled away. I stood at the gate until it disappeared around the bend in the road. Until the dust settled. Until there was nothing left to see. The distance between us felt like a physical wound. Like someone had cut something vital and I was bleeding internally where no one could see. I walked back to the academy alone. The attacks began in earnest. Seraphina had been waiting for exactly this opportunity. Or maybe she had orchestrated it. I could not prove anything. But the timing was too perfect to be coincidence. With Dane gone and no return date specified, I was vulnerable in ways I had not been since Corvus. The first strike came 2 days after his deployment. I found a note slid under my door. Dane's handwriting. His distinctive angular script. The way he formed his R's with that sharp downward stroke. Meet me in the old armory after evening classes. We need to talk. D. My heart soared despite my caution. Maybe he had returned early. Maybe the mission was canceled. Maybe he could not stand the separation either. Hope and dread warred in my chest as I made my way across campus after dinner. The old armory was in a section of the academy rarely used anymore. Storage for outdated equipment. A relic from when the academy was smaller and training was less sophisticated. I arrived 15 minutes early. Checked the shadows. Listened for footsteps. Nothing. The armory door was unlocked. I pushed it open. The hinges squealed in protest. Inside was dark. Cold. Smelling of rust and old leather. Dane was not there. Instead, I found Seraphina's cadre waiting with matching notes and cruel delight. Cassia stepped forward first, her sweet smile in place.
Did you really think he would come back for you?
The papers fluttered in her hand. More notes. All in Dane's handwriting. All saying variations of the same thing.
He is at the wall doing real work.
Millicent's desperate mimicry of Seraphina's elegant cruelty.
You are just the academy project he is obligated to train.
Leanna moved to block the door, her bulk cutting off my escape route.
You are not special. You are not chosen. You are convenient. That is all.
The humiliation burned worse than any physical blow. They had forged his handwriting perfectly, down to the exact way he formed his letters. The spacing, the pressure of his pen. Someone had access to his previous correspondence, had studied it, had practiced until they could reproduce it flawlessly. I fled. Their laughter chased me through empty corridors, high and bright and triumphant. The forgery was perfect because someone had access to everything he had ever written to me. 2 days later, I finished brutal solo training covered in sweat and grime. Desperate for the comfort of hot water, the showers near my quarters were out of order. Maintenance sign posted. Water shut off entirely. I cursed under my breath, grabbed my things, trekked across campus to the communal baths in the older dormitory wing. The walk took 15 minutes, long enough for my muscles to stiffen, for the sweat to dry cold and uncomfortable against my skin. The baths were empty, unusual for this time of day, but I was too exhausted to question my luck. I stripped, left my belongings on the bench near the entrance, stepped under the hot water with a sigh of relief. Steam rose around me. The heat sank into my muscles, washing away the physical evidence of training, even if it could not touch the exhaustion that went deeper than flesh. I took my time, scrubbed until my skin was pink and raw. Let the water run until it went from scalding to merely hot. When I finally emerged, my belongings were gone. Everything. Uniform, undergarments, boots, even my towel. What remained was a single threadbare rag, stained and reeking of mildew, barely large enough to cover me from chest to upper thigh. My hands shook as I picked it up. This was deliberate, calculated. Theater designed to break something in me that combat never could. I wrapped the rag around myself. It rode up with each movement, exposing more than it covered. The black ink marks spread across my thighs, dark lightning that climbed my ribs, traced my collarbone. visible evidence of my binding overuse on shameful display. Ink accumulated and not transferred. I could wait here, could hide in the empty baths until someone came looking for me. But that would be giving them exactly what they wanted. I held my head high, walked out of the baths and across campus toward my quarters. The fabric was too short. Riding up with each step, I could feel eyes on me before I even saw the first group of students. Male cleavers stopped mid-conversation to stare, their gazes hungry and assessing, lingering on exposed skin. On the ink marks, female students smirked, whispered behind their hands, their voices carrying just enough for me to hear fragments.
Showing off like that. Desperate for attention. What did she expect?
I kept walking, refused to run, refused to give them the satisfaction of seeing me break. Each step felt eternal, every eye a violation, every whispered comment a small death of dignity. My skin crawled with awareness, with shame that had nothing to do with my body and everything to do with being reduced to spectacle. By the time I reached my quarters, I was shaking. Not from cold, but from the effort of maintaining composure while being stripped of more than just clothing. I pushed through my door, locked it behind me. My clothes were neatly folded on my bed. They were never lost, never stolen. This was theater. Performance art designed to humiliate and isolate and make me understand exactly how powerless I was. I sank onto my bed, buried my face in my hands, tried to breathe through the rage and shame and helplessness. The final attack came 3 days later. An envelope slid under my door late at night. I heard the whisper of paper on stone, the soft footsteps retreating quickly. I opened it with trembling hands. Inside were recent sketches of my father's caravan routes through the scarred territories. Detailed maps of his stops, his guards' schedules, the chaos vent locations he navigated between. Someone had been following him, documenting his movements, studying his patterns with the precision of someone planning an attack. A note in elegant script accompanied the maps.
Accidents happen to mundane merchants all the time, especially when they lack proper magical protection. Your father has been doing so well rebuilding after the outburst. It would be tragic if something happened to the new caravan. Transfer schools, Liv, quietly, before someone you love pays for your stubbornness.
No signature, but I knew the handwriting. Serafina. I stared at the papers until my vision blurred, my hands shaking with rage and terror. She had just threatened my family. The man who survived one outburst and was trying desperately to rebuild a life from the ruins. The attack was not about Dane anymore. It was about breaking me completely, making me disappear, erasing the threat I represented to Serafina's carefully constructed future. I sat on my bed clutching the sketches, feeling something inside me crack. I had survived dissolution, crystallization, public humiliation, systematic isolation. But this, the threat to my father, the weaponization of my love, the knowledge that Serafina would hurt innocent people to win, this pushed me past the limit of endurance. The perfectionist who endured everything had found that there were some things she could not endure alone. I needed Dane, and he was gone. I was drowning, and this time there was no rescue coming.